everyone. My name is Dana De Los Santos, and I am the Training Advising Support for the Del Mar College Small Business Development Center. Thank you for joining us today. This webinar is brought to you by the Texas Southwest Small Business Development Center Network. There are 3 ways to engage with us online during this event. You can utilize the chat box, which a lot of us have already been using. You can also use the Q&A box for any and all questions. This just helps us make sure that we don't miss any questions that are put into the chat. So go ahead and utilize that Q&A box for any questions. Third, you can also use those reaction emojis. We enjoy knowing whenever you hear something that you love, or maybe even hear something that you think is funny. So definitely utilize those throughout the presentation so we can know how you're engaging with us. The mission of the Texas Southwest SBDC network is to foster small business success. Our vision is to be the premier resource for small business growth in Texas, and our core values include integrity, excellence, service, and innovation. The Texas Southwest SBDC network has been supporting small businesses since 1987, providing expert business advising, training, and market research across 79 counties. With 10 regional SBDC centers, 3 specialty centers, and accreditation through America's SBDC, which is a nationwide network of over 1,000 locations. We're proud to help entrepreneurs start, grow, and succeed throughout the region. We're proudly funded in part by the U.S. Small Business Administration and the state of Texas. Our services, they include confidential one-on-one business advising, always at no cost. Whether you're just getting started, looking to grow, or need help with finances, marketing, or licensing, our expert advisors are here to support you. We also offer in-person and online training, including webinars like this one, designed to be at no cost or at very low cost, and packed with real-world tools that can help you, you can use right away. Excuse me. In addition to general business support, we offer specialty resources for more advanced needs, like marketing research and industry data, international trade, government contracting and certifications, HR and employer services, technology commercialization, and cybersecurity. So whatever stage of the business you're in, we got you back. We're going to help you get there. No matter where you're located, you can connect with your local small business development center by visiting americassbdc.org. You can scan the QR code on your screen, or you can visit the website. All you would need to do is just enter your zip code, and it will help you find the nearest SBDC closest to you. So I want to introduce our presenter. Her name is Sherry Kotvis. Sherry is a certified Chief AI Officer and SCORE mentor who specializes in guiding small and mid-market business leaders from AI curious to AI confident. Drawing on 30 years in instructional technology, sales, and marketing, including Fortune 500 e-learning strategy, she translates complex concepts into practical, revenue-focused workflows. Sherry's 3-phase framework, which is awareness, strategy, and implementation, helps organizations pinpoint high-impact use cases, adopt no-code tools, and maximize return on investment while avoiding common pitfalls. Recognized as one of the first 50 AI certified agents worldwide and holding 3 AI certifications, she delivers down-to-earth sessions that equip owners and teams with actionable skills that they can apply immediately. I'd like to give a warm welcome to Sherry Kotvis. Hello, Sherry.
Hi, good morning. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for coming today. I'm going to share my screen.
There we go.
Okay. Can everyone see that?
Yes, you are on. We're ready to go.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, thank you for the introduction. As mentioned, I'm going to be talking with you today about how to come up with some very easy, simple strategies to start using immediately, right after we get off the call. These are very easy to implement, and anyone can do it with just a few very simple tools. And so I'm going to go ahead and get started. Hey. Okay. Again, my name is Sherry Kopvis, and I have been in training. I have been in the AI space for a few years now, and I really pride myself on educating small business owners. And I've done a number of live presentations with different groups. I'm part of a really amazing consortium, Chief AI Officer, where we get together several times a week and we learn from each other, we grow from each other. And I just love providing really some AI literacy to anyone that's really trying to get a handle on AI in their business, because we all know that it's coming at us fast and furious, really strong. And so it doesn't have to be scary. So I really do like to educate small business owners on how they can start using it right away. So we'll go ahead and talk about basically what is social media strategy. It's really about creating a roadmap. Think about it when you get overwhelmed and you need let's say you're a marketing rep and you need to get your social media content out. You've got so many things that you need to accomplish. The first thing you want to do is really create a roadmap. Create a roadmap that's going to give you a great foundation so that you don't get overwhelmed. And part of that is really targeting your right audience, and it's really understanding what your overall business goals are before you even start using the tools. So I always say strategy first and then add your tools. So first of all, here's some easy steps that you want to define. You want to define what your goals are. What is it that I want to do? Is it, creating content to provide value to existing clients? Is it to provide awareness? Is it to sell a product? You really want to define exactly what it is that you want to accomplish. And then the next thing you want to do is you want to identify who your audience is. What are their pain points? What are the demographics of your audience? What are their specific habits? So you want to start gathering all of this information so that you can create a strategy behind it in how you're going to launch your social media strategy. The next thing you want to do is you want to identify, okay, how am I going to communicate with my target audience? Is it going to be through LinkedIn, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and so on? And you always want to look at, who is on that platform. Is it business owners? What age categories? What demographics are they? Are you doing B2B? Are you doing B2C? All of those things you want to take into account when you're looking at the different platforms. For example, you may want to gravitate towards Instagram and maybe TikTok if you're B2C. If you're really targeting B2B and you're targeting mid-market businesses, you might be more focused on LinkedIn. So definitely do your homework before you start identifying what message you want to convey. Then you want to create, content pillars. You want to stay focused, whatever your theme is, whether it's value added content, whether it's providing resources, training, whatever it is, you want to stay within those pillars so that you don't go outside of the box, so to speak, and you stay more focused and intentional on what you're delivering. And then finally, you're not going to get it perfect the first time around. So you just want to, reiterate your process. You want to refine it over time. And you want to, pick the lanes where you feel you're getting the most impact. So here's some examples of what a flow might look like. You identify your particular, channels. For example, this is an example flow where we can repurpose a blog into, you've got your blog content, and now what you can do using AI very efficiently, you can start to repurpose that content from a blog, and you can create carousels, and you can put those on Instagram. You can put them on LinkedIn. You can also create reels, which are very popular. And then you can also create email content. So I always like to start with the main content, which is going to be, for example, it might be a PDF document, or it might be a blog that you created from a PDF document. But I always look at the main central point of content first. And then what I do is I disperse it depending on what my goal is. So why AI changes, let me see if I can see my screen a little bit better. Why AI changes the game. The reason AI really does change the game is because I don't know about you, but I get really overwhelmed when it comes to getting my message out, when it comes to marketing. Before AI came along, I found myself really kind of stuck in analysis paralysis, if anyone can kind of relate to that. I had a lot of ideas in my head, but actually implementing those ideas was really a challenge for me because the tools were very scattered. They were a very manual process, in my opinion. You had to go into Canva and you had to create, your content. You had to come up with the ideas. You had to, come up with Word docs, and just there's so many steps in the process. So by the time you come up with your idea, you might be pulled away on another project. There's just so many things that traditionally with social media content, creating it was really, really challenging. And with AI, you really can streamline the process. And today I'm going to introduce a few very easy tools that are going to be very easy to follow along and very easy to get started. I'm going to provide you with one tool and maybe a couple more that you could add on later. But basically, in addition to AI, I'm going to introduce you just one tool, and we're going to show you how powerful your business will become. So here's a real world example of what you might use AI for. I mentioned ChatGPT. ChatGPT is really, in my opinion, if you master ChatGPT and all its wonderful features and all of its capabilities, you can do so much with ChatGPT alone. You can really harness what the capabilities are, and you can create some wonderful projects in ChatGPT. You can create custom GPTs. And if you start to really learn how to use ChatGPT, or if you have another favorite LLM that you like to use, there's others out there, depending on what your application is. But for today, I'm only going to focus on ChatGPT. Um, and then you can actually take your content from ChatGPT and you can start to create videos. You can start to create blogs. As here, this is kind of an example of what a flow might look like using AI. We have ChatGPT. We have another tool called InVideo, which is a great AI tool if you want to create quick videos using some very simple prompting. Ideogram is another great AI tool that you can use to create some really great images. If you want to go outside of what ChatGPT has in their platform. So Ideogram is a great tool. And then you want to set up a scheduler. There's a lot of schedulers out there. So a scheduler basically, you create your content and then you schedule it out. So you can actually create a month's worth of content using a scheduler. I basically only, I kind of stay with LinkedIn, and even LinkedIn, they have a scheduler. So you can use one platform and you can use multiple platforms within like a meta scheduler. There are some restrictions when you schedule through something like Meta. You can't post on your personal page. You can only post on your business. So to me, that's a little bit of a confinement, but you can post directly through Facebook and Instagram using the Meta scheduler. It does not, last I checked, it does not schedule anything to LinkedIn. So when you're looking at the different platforms for scheduling, think about which platforms you're going to be using, and then from there, decide which schedulers you want. There's other schedulers that will schedule on everything. I personally don't use them, but I have used them in the past. A couple might be Hootsuite. And then if there's other, anyone else here that uses other schedulers that they really like, I encourage you to put it in the chat to share with the group. So here's some fast and easy content workflows with AI. You draft your content into ChatGPT. So they have a free version and they have a paid version. You can create scripts, you can create outlines. There's so much you can do with it. I do recommend that if you're a small business owner that you invest the $20 per month and buy the paid version. You're going to get so much more quality out of it. You're going to get a lot more features. You're going to be able to create things that you would not be able to do in the free version. So I do recommend that at the very least, you invest $20 a month and you invest that into ChatGPT. If you have another LLM that you prefer, that's fine too. But just remember, you always, when you're using a free version of anything, you're just not going to get the quality of output that you might get when you actually have the paid version. So definitely consider that. If you do anything today, if you get anything out of this presentation today, that would be the one thing on my wish list, is that you do invest in ChatGPT. Another great tool that I'm going to be showing you today is called Gamma. And they have a free version and they have a paid version. And this is, to me, a really great way to start really putting your social media content on steroids. This is one platform where you can design slides, you can design web pages, you can design PDF documents and put a nice little flair on them rather than just a vanilla type PDF document. You can have some nice graphics behind it. And then also you have the ability to post social. So think about, you're starting with your ChatGPT, you're gathering your content in ChatGPT. It's helping you identify what you want to put into Gamma, and now you're creating your content in Gamma. And then also I mentioned visuals. In addition to Chat and Gamma, you have Ideogram. They have a free version and they have a paid version, and then some social schedulers. Some are free, and then some, are paid, but they do have some great starter packages if you want to, at least get started with a scheduler. It will really make your life a lot easier. And then you want to figure out, when you're putting your content in your schedulers, ask ChatGPT, when is the best time to schedule, my content to go out? And ChatGPT, it actually can help you come up with a schedule. So here's the gist of it. It's a huge time saver. It's actually with the combination of ChatGPT and some of your favorite AI tools, it's really going to save you hours and hours of time brainstorming. Think of ChatGPT as your thought partner. Think of it as your second brain. You always want to make your content authentic, of course, but this is absolutely a great foundation for you to start really generating content. It's like I said before, my biggest issue when I was doing social media content before, it was like analysis paralysis. With AI, it's going to eliminate so much time on your schedule to get your content out there, to get it scheduled. You can literally take, once you become very proficient with using AI and just pick a couple tools, you can literally have 30 days of content scheduled out in advance. So now think about how that frees you up. Think about how that frees you up to work with clients, to spend time with your family. It's just an incredible tool. And so I absolutely encourage everyone to look at the content calendars and really, really take advantage of those. So here's just some bonus tips. You want to always include any kind of disclaimers whenever you're, creating content. Think about your audience. Think about, keeping yourself and your clients safe, keeping your content safe. So think about adding disclaimers to your content. You always want to, you don't want to just create content and then post. You always want to edit your content. You always want to make sure that you're looking for hallucinations in AI, because, AI can really go off the guardrails. So you want to always ensure that you're prompting quality content so that the prompting that you put in there is going to match the quality of your output. So gone are the days of using ChatGPT to simply write in a one-sentence prompt. The more information you can feed into your ChatGPT with what you're looking for, the better output you're going to get. So always think about that, because I hear time and time again where people will say, AI didn't give me what I was looking for. AI didn't answer my question? Well, it's more than likely because whatever that user put into ChatGPT was not providing enough insight. So think about that when you're using any AI and when you're using ChatGPT. The more content, the better quality, the more enriched data you can put into ChatGPT, the better output you're going to get. And then offer lead magnets. You want to, think about how you're going to leverage your social media. You want to drive your list. You want to be offering value. So you want to provide, downloads that are available. You enter your content information or contact information, and in exchange, I'm going to give you some value back. So think about that when you're creating any social media content. You don't want to just randomly post. You want to have calls to action so that you can really see the results of your work. And then here's some final thoughts. Some final thoughts is repurpose your content. And I'm going to show you an example of how to do that today. Take your content and think about the big picture. Think about that content calendar and repurposing that one in really refined content and repurposing it into multiple pieces and to multiple messages. And then always think about AI as your support. Do not think of AI as replacing you. Think of it as your second brain and think of it as your thought partner and put your own voice in it. And this is not a class for ChatGPT, but you always want to make sure that you've got your profile, your memory, everything set up in ChatGPT so that now every time you're using it, it's going to be, you're training your ChatGPT to know who you are. It knows your voice, it knows your persona. And so the more you use it, the more it understands you. It's going to start to really, start to emulate who you are. So always think about that when you're using AI. It supports, but it does not replace. So the main gist of social media content at scale is really, repetitive tasks are taken away because now you're not manually creating one-off content. You've got your ecosphere, and then you launch it from there. So with that said, I am going to switch over to a little demonstration that I prepared for you today. And what I want to provide is really a really great framework where you can start to talk to your ChatGPT and understand, how do I get started? Okay, so how do I get started is I have a very wonderful mentor that taught me this technique. And it's not about asking a general question. It's really about drawing from experts that are in the space. So what I did here, and can everyone see my chat, my prompt at the very top? Who are the 3 top experts in the world? Okay, great. So I love this technique because I am not just asking ChatGPT, I need a social media content calendar. I'm actually asking, who are the top 3 experts in the world that are creating social media content at scale? And so this is a method called reverse prompting that I was taught. And it's really my go-to in my business ever since I learned this. So this is a great starting point for anyone when you're trying to understand any subject matter, whether it's real estate or it's finance or it's anything. You can literally start your search by asking ChatGPT who are the top 3 experts in the world. So for this prompt, I put in who are the top 3 experts in the world at creating social media content at scale. So I'm sure everyone recognizes some of these names here. Gary Vaynerchuk, and then they talk about what his skill sets are, why he's recognized as the top leader in the world. And Neil Patel, another one. So they all have their areas of expertise. I only want 3. I don't want a laundry list. I want the top 3. I want to go right to the top 3. And so here I've got a little spreadsheet that tells me why they are who they are and why they're so good at what they do. And that's what I want to know. I want to know how they systematize. I want to know how they create pillars. And I want to draw from their expertise. I don't want to reinvent the wheel. So here I've got, these are the 3 top experts. I encourage everyone, if you're on your computers now and you've got ChatGPT, I encourage you to maybe follow along and play with this a little bit while we're talking and see what you come up with for your particular area. It might be an industry that you want to put in here. You know, who are the top 3 experts in the world at creating social media content at scale, and then add for my industry, whatever your industry might be. So you can even get a more finite response if you try that. So definitely try that out and see what you come up with. So I've got some quick takeaways. All 3 approaches, they talk about scale, they talk about process. And then what I did is I asked ChatGPT further. I said, okay, this is my scenario. I'm an international real estate specialist and I'm marketing my services to baby boomer community. I want to get the best results possible. I need your help by combining the top 3 experts, create a social media strategy for me to launch. What questions do you have for me before beginning? So I asked ChatGPT before I even, I create this calendar or I create this strategy. I want ChatGPT to ask me, what information do you need from me to make this a very high quality output? So here we go. These are the questions that ChatGPT is asking me. It's asking me for, what are my primary objectives? What is my geographic focus? What are my baby boomer profile? I answered all of these questions. I would do this live, but it would probably take too much time and we would run over. So I did all of this in advance. So I just want to show you by typing this in here and asking it to ask you questions. Now answer these questions, and it's specific to your needs and to your audience. Is everyone with me so far? Can I get a thumbs up? Great, great, fantastic.
Sherry, we have one request. I'm not sure if you can do it. They're asking if you could make your screen just a little bit bigger.
Um, I don't know. Mine is already
Maximized.
yeah, they could there's a zoom feature at the top. That you can do like 100%, 150%. Do you see that up at the top? You can do that. Mine's already maximized.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. We
I'm
are
sorry.
also, no problem. Everyone, we are also recording this session and we'll be emailing it to you afterwards. So just keep that in mind as well. Thank you.
Okay, great, great. So is everyone kind of following the flow here? It's not, it's not about, a one sentence prompt. It's really about putting um, some really great parameters into ChatGPT to help me come up with some really high quality content. So I'm answering all of these questions, and so here I've got all my answers. I answered the questions. I said, here's my goal, here's my audience, and so on. So I want general brand awareness. That's the answer to question one. My country I'm focusing on is Portugal. I want to talk to, baby boomers that might be considering retiring in Portugal. Here's my age group. Here's where I feel like I want to get my message out. These are my platforms. And since this is a real estate related social media content. I put a CRM in here called KV Core. You may have a CRM that you use, maybe HubSpot or something like that. So if you want to generate emails from the content that we're going to create, you want to provide that, because I do encourage you to repurpose your content and start to generate multiple ways of reaching new people and your sphere of influence. Also, I made an assumption, $500 for ad spend. I just put that in there. I'm going to be using ChatGPT, and I mentioned Gamma earlier, and just a few tools that I'm going to use. Here's the where I want people to know who I am, a certified global marketing agent. I do have a disclaimer. I have compliance that I need to follow as a real estate agent, or if you're doing this for a client, you want to put any compliance or guardrails that you need to consider. And then here's the goal. I want to grow my email list by 10% monthly. That's just a random percentage. If you're working with a client or you have your own specific needs, adjust. And then it asks the last question. It says, is there a timeline? So I'm saying, yes, there's a timeline. I have an upcoming seminar in July. And so here's my timeline. Okay. So I answered all of the questions, and now I've got a Portugal ready social media strategy. And here's what infuses all three of the social media experts, because I asked it to do that. I wanted it to look at all three of the social media experts' strategies and combine it into one really super strong one. And so this is what three top experts combined are providing to me or my client on how to move forward with my social media strategy. So here's the recommendations. We have the goal: build top of funnel brand awareness, US boomers, audience snapshot, retired. Here's all of the content pillars. We've got all of these content pillars that are recommended. We've got Portugal basics, lifestyle stories, monies and taxes. Then we have down here, we've got some suggestions on how to create the content. And then here is the some of the platforms they're recommending. Do 3 reels, try cost of living tips. It's basically giving you a complete menu of what you want to do to incorporate a new strategy. Is anyone trying this as we're moving along? Is anyone maybe playing around with this a little bit? I definitely recommend it. Not that you want to take your eye off the ball, but it's really pretty amazing how it comes up with this content. And remember, if you're using the free version, you're not going to get this this good of content from ChatGPT, because I'm using right now, I'm using O3 version, which is a deeper thought. I really like how it digs in more deep into really what I'm looking for. And there are different versions of ChatGPT for general questions and general conversations. You're going to be using a different version. But for this strategy, I'm using version O3. And you can kind of see O3, it uses advanced reasoning. So kind of keep that in mind when you are using ChatGPT, the different versions, and kind of get up to speed on what each version can provide for you. All right, so I'm going to just kind of scroll down here. Here's a suggestion on paid. I just made an assumption. I'm a small business owner. I've only got $500 a month. So what can I do? How can I stretch my dollar? And it's making some suggestions. You know, here's the target audience. Here's how much you can spend. You know, LinkedIn, $100. You know, it's just kind of giving you some frameworks if you want to start running paid ads. Production and publishing calendar. Here's the calendar, and it's giving you some suggestions on how to put your set up your content calendar, like we talked about earlier. So here's a great. This is done for you. It's got, you know, the dates. It tells you what to do. It tells you what day of the week, you know, and so on. So here's your content calendar, and here's our compliance check. We're going to add fair housing disclaimer on every post. And then it's giving you some lead magnets. It's giving you a checklist. So it's really super robust. So for the purposes of this demonstration, I wanted to go ahead and take all of this, and I decided that the first thing I want to do is I want to write a blog. Okay. So what I did is I opened up a new window, and what I did here is I said, now following the social media strategy. See, I've got this in projects, which I should mention. I've got all of my content in a file folder on the left-hand side of the menu. So I'm building out a project right now. So when you're using ChatGPT, you can create singular threads and singular items in your menu, but you can also create projects. And for this particular demonstration, I've decided I want to use project. And I name the project baby boomer, for example, social media content strategy for baby boomers moving to Portugal. That might be the name of my project. So I'm building out my content. So when I come up with this strategy here, what I'm doing is I'm taking that strategy and I'm actually creating a document with it. And now I'm feeding it into my project folder. So now I've got this library. I'm building like a library within my project. Hopefully that makes sense. So now my project is reading that strategy, right? And I'm asking it, I'm saying, now following the social media strategy, create a sequence for me with the following content. This is what I want. I want retire in Portugal 2025, Portugal cost of living for Americans, and Portugal D7 visas for retirees. That's what I asked ChatGPT to do. And it's creating here's a 4-week content plan using the keywords retire in Portugal, Portugal cost of living, and Portugal D7, following the strategy from your Portugal ready social media strategy. So it pulled in that strategy that I just created in another prompt. And now what it's doing is it's giving me a complete strategy for my baby boomers. And here's what it's telling me to do. Portugal relocation funnel, 4-week content sequence. So I spent a lot of time on this because to me, this is the most important part of social media marketing, is having a solid foundation and having a calendar and having a roadmap. So that's why I spend so much time on this portion of it, because once you have this and you learn just a few tools, you're off and running. So here's what it's suggesting. Here's our week 2 real stories. And it's telling us what we want to do. Week 3, show me the money. Okay, fantastic. So the first thing I want to do is I want to create a blog. That was my first thing I wanted to do. Remember I mentioned that? So now I say create blog draft right here. It says, would you like me to prepare the actual blog draft? I said, yes. I only want the blog. That's all I want right now. So I don't want to confuse ChatGPT. I don't want to ask for like too many things. And I like to keep it straight in my head, which one I'm going to do first. Now, if you're one of those that can multitask and do all of it at once, I say go for it. But for me, I'm more of a linear thinker. And so first I want to create my blog because I look at that as my foundation of my content, if that makes sense, because it's going to be a very robust document. So great. It's asking me a couple of questions before they create the blog. It's asking me just to confirm I draft the blog, and it's asking me what kind of tone I want, informative tone. I want to optimize it for search engine optimization, or I think now they call it AI optimization. There's another optimization out there. And I know I only have about 10 minutes left, so I'm going to try and go through this pretty quickly. So here's my blog. Okay, here's my blog. It's got fantastic content in here. And the reason it has such great content is because we took the time to set up a really great foundation. And it's also drawing from resources. It's drawing from, different news sources. It's drawing from all these different resources and pulling in data for me when I'm creating this blog. So the right thing to do is edit everything and make sure that, you want to edify everything. You want to even maybe look at it and put your own touch on it. You can download the blog, put it into a document, and kind of massage it a little bit, which you can certainly do. But here's your foundation of your blog. Now look at all of the amazing content. If you're a marketer and you're looking for content, look at all the fantastic content you can draw from just one blog. We've got very robust, very robust. So now it's like, okay, so what do I do with this? Now that I've got it, where do I put it? That's the beauty. We're going to actually take this, and remember I mentioned Gamma earlier. We're going to take this blog, and what we're going to do is I am going to go into, let's see here. I am going to go in here. So I think what I want to do is we've got a little bit of time left. So I want to create this for you. I'm going to go back in here and I am going to, let's see if this is going to work for me. I am going to copy this blog. See this little button down here? I'm going to copy this and I'm going to go into Gamma and there's a free version of Gamma that you can sign up for today. It's I believe it's GAMMA.app, and you can literally sign up for that right now. And here we have a button called Create New. Did everyone see that? It was right here, Create New. Okay, I'm going to click on that. Now, you have different options of how you want to put your content into Gamma. Now, what are we doing with Gamma? What we're doing is we're creating pretty content, I guess you would say. We want to make it look pretty. We want to make it look, we don't want to just use text. We want to put it into a nice presentation. Maybe we want to build a web page with it. Or maybe we want to start creating social media content with it. So for now, I'm going to do this. I am going to go paste, and all I'm going to do is I am going to paste in here. Okay, now I've got all of this content in Gamma. It's asking me, what do you want to do with this content? Do you want an outline? Do you want a long text or document, or do you want to preserve the exact text? So you really have the choice of how you want to use this. So I think what I'll do for now is I think I want to create a document. And the reason I want to create a document is because maybe I want to provide a blog to my sphere of influence. Okay, so I'm just going to create a document with this. And I think what I'm going to do is I am just going to preserve the text exactly as is. Now down here, it says continue to prompt editor. So I'm going to click that. Okay, now it's asking me some questions. It's asking me like, what type of images do I want? Do I want to preserve? You know, it's asking me some things on the left-hand column. You can certainly, you know, play around with this. There's different prompts you can put in here if you want to change things up. For purposes of this demo, I'm just going to leave it at the default. It's recommending 11 cards. That's what it's recommending. And think of when you're doing a PowerPoint presentation, slides. So basically cards in Gamma is equivalent to slides in PowerPoint. Just think of it that way. Now I'm just going to leave everything as is, and I'm going to click continue, but you have the option for freeform. So freeform, what it might do is it might condense. See, it went down from 11 to 8. In fact, let's do freeform. Let's see what that looks like. So I've got all of my content in here. I'm just going to click continue. All right, and now I'm going to just click one of these templates. I've got a choice of templates. Okay, I think I want it to be maybe light, maybe a little bright and airy and fun. Now you can also put your own templates in here. So you can build out your own branding. So you can certainly do that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to click this button up here. It says generate. Does everyone see generate? You get a thumbs up? Okay, great. So now I'm clicking generate. Now, what it's doing is Gamma is taking that content from what we got from ChatGPT and is creating a nice looking document for me to send to my clients. It looks so much better than regular text, right? It's auto-populating some nice images. And while it's doing that, I'll kind of walk you through this. On the right-hand column over here, you can see there's buttons. You can edit, you can add columns, you can add your own images, you can add a video, maybe your own video you want to add to it. Let's say at the end of this video, at the end of this blog, you want to put a little personalized video. Hey, thank you for taking the time to read my blog. Reach out to me and let's talk about your needs. It's like a call to action. You can add a calendar on the last page, or you can put on the first page, however you want. So think about the ways you can use this. Just this alone, you could set up an email campaign, add your personalized video at the end of it, add a call to action. Now, what you can do with this blog, after it's created, you can, like I said, you can edit it. You can do a number of things. So all you do is when you're done, you can simply share it. And here's the different options. You've got share link and you have export. So you could export it into a PDF. And then they also have a new version. I don't recommend, posting an extensive document like this on LinkedIn, but they have this version when you're using the social media option on the tab. So there's different ways you can save it. You can save it all as images, just depending on what you plan on doing with your content. So it's pretty amazing what Gamma can do. And think about all the time that you just saved by throwing your content in something like this. It added images for you. You can swap those out. You want to verify, of course, always verify your information. The D7 visa requirements, maybe, make sure that those are current. Make sure you've got current information. We did use the 03 version for search, so it should be pretty spot on, but I always verify. Here's cost of living. Here's some red tape that you may encounter. Now here it says free starter kit. This could also be a call to action for you. You could create a more robust PDF, build on the content that we just created. Maybe you want to incorporate, some properties for sale or some neighborhoods or maybe some scouting opportunities, maybe some scouting companies, maybe put a resource file together. So I know that we are at the hour straight up. So that is the basics of my presentation. Also, I can show you really quick when you're creating new, you have different options. You can generate a presentation just on a prompt alone. You can also import a file. So these are all different ways you can really leverage Gamma. And then you can create presentations. You can create web pages. You can also create documents, which we just did, or social media content. So you can take that robust document and now break it down and tell Gamma that you want to create some social media posts with it. So just kind of follow the bouncing ball. These are all very easy to use tools to get started with immediately. So I hope that you enjoyed my presentation today. I really enjoyed presenting to you. And here's my contact information. If anyone's interested, I'd be more than happy to jump on a call and help you get started with it. Just scan the QR code and we can hop on a call for a half hour, and I'd be more than happy to help get you started. So thank you again for the opportunity. It's been a pleasure.
Wonderful. Thank you, Sherry. That was absolutely amazing. I was taking notes the entire time. I do have two questions. Do you mind waiting a couple of minutes and getting
Sure.
uh great, that would be wonderful. Okay, so the first is Gamma better than Canva? I guess in your opinion.
I don't really find them the same product. I,
Okay,
um, I Canva does have the magic AI in it, but I think that the two products have two different purposes. I look at Canva, and now maybe I haven't been in there in a while, but I don't think Canva can do this. I don't think it can take correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think it can take a large document like this and create multiple ways of content for social media.
right,
I look at Canva more as, creating your content and then maybe moving it over into something else. That I use both, and I just haven't found them really. Uh, I think Gamma is just a it's free. I would absolutely at least check it out and compare the two for your use cases and see if you think Canva can do the same thing, but I don't think it does.
right, absolutely. The next is, excuse me, do you recommend publishing a blog directly to your website using Gamma, or better to download and then upload it yourself?
Um, Well, I've done it both ways, and I don't know if anyone has any of the cheap AIs in here if they've done it. I haven't found it to make a big difference. I've done it both ways, so I think it just depends on personal preference.
Right. Okay, it says, I worry about the security with free versions of AI.
Yeah.
And then the last is, what does CAIO stand for and how is the certification achieved? Great event.
Oh, chief AI officer.
Hmm.
Oh, Chief AI Officer.
Right.
Chief AI Officer is it's recognized by the International Association of Chief AI Officers, and we've got some other CAIOs here on the call. They're more
Hmm.
than welcome to chime in. It is a fantastic certification, and it really helps you prepare for AI working with clients and also in your own business. They talk about uh, business strategy. They talk about really compliance, guardrails, keeping your clients safe, keeping yourself safe. We have frameworks that we use. We have a very great group of chief AI officers that are certified, and we all train each other on the newest tools that are out there. Um, it's just a great way to stay informed, and it's recognized by a lot of large businesses when maybe you're a strategist, maybe you're an AI strategist, and you're promoting your business, and it's definitely recognized as more than just being self-taught in AI. It's having this certification that will really give you some credence to what you have to say. And I do a lot of live presentations, and I think credibility is super important. And so when we can provide that stamp that we've gone through some very extensive training and we're continuously learning. I just updated my AI consultation certification last week. I just went through that again. Content is constantly changing. What you
Hmm.
learned 6 months ago, what you learned 3 months ago, it's probably not even relevant anymore. That's how quick AI is moving and changing. So anyone that is really wanting to, really embrace AI, I would, I've got my QR code here. Feel free to reach out. I can share more information on that. And if any other CIOs have anything they want to add, that's be welcome as well.
Perfect.
that
Okay, great.
helpful?
Yes, that
Okay,
was the last question. So I think we are done. Thank you again, Sherry, for your amazing presentation and all of the information that you shared. Thank you to everyone who joined us today. I hope you got a lot out of it as I did. And we hope to see you this afternoon at Building Brand Voice with AI Tools, Staying Consistent Across Channels. It's going to be today at 2 o'clock. Have a great day. Thank you.
thank you, everyone. Have a great day.